So
Metro.
basically, you want fanboy bait.
No, I'm not even. It's not.
Yeah, you do. You want a
No,
reason to be like, look at what my system can do as
no, that's
well.
not it. And the picture you see up right now is actually my Switch 2 playing Cyberpunk. That's my game right there. That's me, y'all. That's
I'm the angry vigilante here to fight the fight, breaking down the walls in the dead of night. No room for player essence or your fake parade. Holmes Smith, your empire's about to fade. Your empire's about to fade.
Oh boy, Levelhead is back at it again. Now, can these fanboy and fangirls accept that the Nintendo Switch 2 is nothing more than a Switch Pro? Let's find out. And also, let me know down in the comments, do you guys enjoy the new intro, or do you think I should go back to the old one?
what was your experience, Nia, when you first opened it up and first started the process of powering it up, seeing the screen glow, setting up the dock, that whole experience? How was it?
Well, I don't know about their experience, but I can tell you about my cousin, because my cousin, she brought her Switch 2 over, and I watched her unbox it, and I will admit, at first it was exciting to see it, but after you play it for a bit, honestly, you forget you're supposed to be playing on a next-gen console. It literally feels like a Switch Pro.
I was not excited for that part. I feel like for me, the UI and all that just looks too similar to what we already have, so that wasn't really exciting for me.
Oh, don't worry, you weren't the only one. Many people thought the exact same thing. Now, I never played the third-party games on it. I only played Mario Kart World with my cousin, and yeah, it was fun, but literally an hour into it, you forget you're even playing you forget that you're supposed to be playing something that's next gen. It does not feel like it's next gen.
However, I will say this. I do like how certain menus have a little jingle to them, even though they didn't go all out and do what they used to do with their UI.
To be honest, they didn't go all out with anything, especially in Mario Kart World.
Because to me, they at least put some subtle charm in it. Like, for example, like when you go to...
Yeah, and all that subtle charm is completely erased when you sit there and look at how bad it rips off your wallet.
So like, for example, like when you go to the Nintendo Switch Online app, there's like a little jingle that plays where you press the icon. And then when you get in there and like you're scrolling through like the information or whatever, like it actually plays the music from those games.
Oh yeah, that's such an improvement right there. That really makes it a next-gen console. In my opinion, I still can't help but think it's just a Switch Pro.
I thought that was a good little... But it was good to see that they added something to spice it up a little bit, because...
For it being $450, that's the least they can do. Honestly, they should have done a lot more than that. They should at least gave it its own startup screen like all the other ones have had, except for the Switch. I don't think the Switch 1 had a special own startup screen either.
The Switch 1 UI is completely silent. It's completely silent.
Oh, so the Switch 1 didn't have anything. Yeah, they could have at least done its own startup screen. It's like you paid $450 for that, and they couldn't even give you a special startup screen like you've always gotten with each and every console. That's just ridiculous. At least the Switch 1, I can give it a little bit of leeway because it was a cheaper console. With this one, there's no excuse for it.
Like, it's so dead. Like, I hate it, but...
Oh, so the Switch 1 didn't have anything. Yeah, they could have at least done its own startup screen. It's like you paid $450 for that, and they couldn't even give you a special startup screen like you've always gotten with each and every console. That's just ridiculous. At least the Switch 1, I can give it a little bit of leeway because it was a cheaper console. With this one, there's no excuse for it.
That was nice. And even when you boot up the Switch 2 for the very first time, there's a little jingle that chimes whenever it shows the Nintendo Switch 2 logo. So I thought that was really nice.
It should have been a lot more than just a little jingle. It literally just should have been its own startup screen.
But speaking specifically about the UI, I do, even though it does look very similar to Switch 1, I do like the way that they kind of round out the icons. It looks a little bit more stylish, a little bit more sleek, you know?
Are you talking about on the system itself, or are you talking about on the controllers? Because I'll sit there and say, I was actually really liking the controllers until I found out they're the exact same ones as the first Switch, so that probably means we're going to get stick drift.
I mean, it's subtle, but it's still giving a little something.
Is it $450 something? I don't think so.
But I do hope that in the future they do spice it up a little bit more, because they do have the RAM to make it happen. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, they do.
Nintendo has the ability to do a lot of things that they should do, but whether they're going to do it's a whole nother story. This is Nintendo after all.
One thing that did impress me off rip was,
Well, Levelhead, it doesn't take much to impress you. Remember when you sat there and did that video about it's playing with power when it's only last gen power? Come on now.
the quality of the screen of the Switch 2. Like the quality, how it just,
Yeah, the screen is really nice, but at 450, it should have been an OLED.
it just looks good when it boots up, right? It pops.
Okay, I'll give you that one. You only get one, Levelhead.
But when the UI pops on, it felt so familiar. Like,
Of course it did. Would you like to know why? Because it's not a real next-gen console. It's nothing more than a Switch Pro.
literally just the same. And I think that kind of, I'm gonna be honest, Nia, Keith, K-Bum, it kind of sucked me out of the moment because it was so familiar.
Oh, it did that to a lot of people. I am so glad that you guys can be open and honest about it, because there are so many people, not going to say no names, Switchforce, sit there and act like, oh, it's a brand new system, so much better, and then when you sit there and boot it up, it literally feels the exact same. For a next-gen system at $450 especially, they could have done something different to make it look different than the Switch One. They didn't have to redefine the whole thing, but at least give it a different startup screen, make the menu look a little different. They could have done something better.
Like,
Pause.
no, I'm not pausing.
Hey man, I can do some over here.
It pulled me out of the moment, I guess. Okay, it pulled me out of the moment.
Damn it, you're making me agree with Levelhead. I actually agree. No pause. It did pull them out of the moment. It pulled everybody out of the moment.
Because
Okay.
it was so similar to the Switch. And it's not that I didn't know that. It's just,
Come on, you had a reasonable expectation that it was supposed to be different. That's because Nintendo lied to you guys and lied to all of us. They sat there and marketed this as the next-gen system, marketed as a Switch 2, but unfortunately, it's just nothing more than a Switch Pro disguised as next-gen.
when I saw it, I was like, dang, this is really just the Switch 2. It's the same thing. I mean, the blocks, the game layout, everything is just like the Switch. It's just a little bit, it's popping a lot better.
Well, unfortunately, that's because Nintendo lied to you. Nintendo pulled a fast one on you guys. But I'm glad that you guys are willing to accept it now. Maybe we can move forward and make Nintendo better.
And Nia, I didn't even notice the music. So I kind of was like, this is cool. And I remember texting you guys in the chat, and I said, you know, it's very familiar, but that's not a bad thing. And I'm going to be honest, now that Nia said what she said.
No. Levelhead, do not do it. No, don't do that. It is a bad thing. When you have to pay $450 for something that was marketed as a new system and a new console, that's what you should expect. You should not expect it to be a Switch Pro in disguise.
I was saying it's not a bad thing because it was underwhelming for me.
Okay, that makes no sense. I am so confused, Levelhead. Can you please explain how is something you're going to sit there and say, oh, it's not a bad thing, but it's underwhelming for me? If it's underwhelming, that means it's a bad thing.
So I was like, man, I was excited, but it's not it ain't like when you first turned the Wii U on.
Never played a Wii U, so I'm probably not missing out on much, but I would probably sit there and say it's not the same feeling when you booted up the Switch.
Right? And you see everything flip up. You see the little Mii's run out there. It just has its own aesthetic.
And they should have done something like that. Literally, it deserved its own startup screen. It should have been distinguished differently. Now, I don't think this is going to cause it to fail. I still think that this is going to be a successful console, but I don't know. Now looking at it, I don't even know if it's going to hit 100 million. I think it will sell more definitely than the Wii U. I think it can sell up to 80 million, but any more than that, you never know. It could, but I'm having a hard time seeing it. They're going to have to sit here and do a lot, lower the price or do something, because what they're giving you at this price point, especially what we're seeing from their first party titles so far with Mario Kart World, nothing screams next gen to me.
For about a month, every time you turned it on, that just kind of felt so new and so different.
Oh, I bet. And then when it came to the Switch 2, you sat there and had that feeling at first that it felt new because, yeah, the system itself does look new. It does feel different when you're holding it and everything. But literally, I don't even think an hour into playing Mario Kart World with my cousin, I literally forgot that I was playing on a Switch 2. It felt the exact same as the Switch 1.
And then when you got the Switch, it was so different from the Wii U that every time you turned it on, you felt that difference. Well,
Exactly. But with this one, you just don't have that feeling. That's why I keep sitting there saying, unfortunately, Nintendo played everybody.
with the Switch 2, it's exactly the same as the Switch.
I completely agree. I am so glad that I am teaching you, Levelhead.
Keith, how did you feel when you first booted it up?
Come on, Keith, don't let me down. You are the chosen one of the group. You need to restore balance to this council.
As to state a fact, you guys are 100% correct.
Thank you, Keith. I am so proud of you. You are making me proud.
Everything the Switch 1 is.
Yeah, just more powerful.
I don't know, but I got a different feeling about it because, to be honest with you, yes, I do like the fact that it's very similar.
No. Keith, don't do this to me. Don't do this to the fans. Come on.
And I do like when they try to do something unique and different, like going from the Wii to the Wii U.
You were one of the very few people that did like that.
And they kind of adopted some of the same concepts, but then the Wii U just took it to the next level.
Okay, I never played the Wii U, so I don't know if graphically it was that much better than the Wii. But so far, you look at Mario Kart World and you compare it to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yes, I do see a little bit of a difference, but the unfortunate part is they're both different styles, so I can't tell if it's really that much of a graphical improvement compared to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But when I play that game, it does not scream next gen compared to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yes, it has things in it that could not run on the Switch. I will give it that, but graphically looking at it, I don't see it next gen graphically.
I kind of prefer not having to do too much and looking around. I just wanted to get into the games.
Come on, Keith, you're better than this. Expect more of Nintendo. When you drop $450, and I'm assuming you got the bundle, so if you paid $500, come on. Have higher expectations than that.
I just really wanted to get into the games, get the downloads going, and start playing the games in better fidelity.
And yes, and you usually get that with a Pro, not a next-gen system.
So I'm glad that the updates was simple, and I'm glad that they use QR codes, because your boy, I couldn't remember my password to my Nintendo Online account. But anyways,
don't worry, I don't think you were the only one.
So that was like when I pulled it out, when I got it out the box, put everything, put it all together. I looked at it first. Y'all didn't mention this, but it feels so much more premium.
I'll agree with you on that one. When I watched my cousin do it and she let me hold it after she sat there and put it together, yeah, it does feel more premium. But the problem is they didn't market it as more premium. They didn't market it as a Switch Pro. They market it as a next-gen console. And unfortunately, if you were to sit there and hand someone that, not have it say Switch 2 on the back, hand them a Switch and not say the Switch on the back or anything like that, they would honestly be thinking they are just playing the same console, but just more of a mid-gen refresh. That's what most people would.
Well, yeah, it feels really, really good. It has a nice little heft to it. Like you said, the screen is nice, it's beautiful. And I like the fact, like I said, I like the fact that it's simple, get you into the games right away.
Yeah, but that's how a like a Switch Pro is supposed to be, like a mid-gen refresh console. That's how that's supposed to be. A next-gen console is supposed, like, it shouldn't be difficult to get into it, but it's supposed to feel different than the previous gen to set it apart. That's what they were supposed to do, and in my opinion and many other people's opinion, Nintendo failed at that. And just to let you guys know, I do enjoy your guys' live streams. I do think you guys do very good quality live streams, but Levelhead, I will sit there and recommend this one. You guys need to get together and tweak your audio so it can kind of match, because you'll be listening to it, and with Levelhead with yours, your audio's too low, so you gotta like turn it up, and then you'll hear Mia start talking. You're literally almost breaking your eardrum.
When I played on the PS3 and then I see the PS4, there's differences, but it's like, I know why you're here.
Yeah.
It's familiar.
Yes, but when it comes to the PS3 and the PS4, even though it feels familiar and it's not difficult to get into, you can tell that they're different. No one's going to sit there and say, oh, the PS4 is a PS3 Pro. There's no confusion when it comes down to that one. They sit there and set themselves apart. They look completely different. Number one, the packaging makes it look different when it comes down to that one. But when it comes down to playing it, they all completely feel different, and it feels something new and fresh. Unfortunately, the Switch 2 does not feel like that.
Go ahead and start playing games. And I like that Nintendo's doing that. And on top of that, the CEO invented, and what he said about, this is still Iwata's vision.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I have a very hard time believing that one. Not after what Nintendo is doing right now. Trust me, this isn't my Nintendo. This isn't our Nintendo.
And that's why I feel like they didn't really try to go too far and change things. There is quality of life things like when Nia was mentioning the NSO, and then there's music. Like,
Oh, nobody would disagree with you that there's no quality of life improvements. There clearly is. They did, improve upon the Switch 1, but not enough to distinguish it as another console, as a brand new console. That's why so many people are saying this looks like a Switch Pro.
but I still like the fact that it's simple, and I know that the UI isn't in the way. As a matter of fact,
And I would agree with you, and I think a lot of other people would agree with you, K-Bomb, or not K-Bomb, sorry, Keith, wait, is Keith and K-Bomb the same person? I get confused sometimes. Let me know down below, Levelhead. But I would agree with you if they didn't market it as a new console. If they would have just marketed it as a Switch Pro, I would completely agree with you, and I don't think that they would be getting that much backlash. But the problem is they market it as a next-gen console, and when it comes to a brand new console, there is higher expectations when it comes to that. And unfortunately, Nintendo did not meet them.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want nobody to get me misread what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying when I
yeah, I
built
know,
it up,
I know.
like Nia was saying, it was just when it came on so familiar. It was like, oh yeah, I know, I've been here. You know what I'm saying? So,
And don't worry, most of us agree with you. You guys just need to push back against Nintendo. Tell them that we expect more from you guys. Well, that's it for my reaction. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with me or not. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay vigilant.
For the consumers lost in the shadow's grip, I rise with the fury on the sinking ship. Fanboys crumble, their empires fall. The truth, my weapon.